All right. Well, hello there. My name is Beth Gaff. I am in here early as usual. I'm about 3 or 4 minutes early here today. So I'm just going to kind of talk about some of the stuff I have. And so you know, this is a recorded class, which means that any conversation we have in here um, would would be able to be seen with anybody that's on here, or if you're speaking. So if you have a microphone, you may want to mute that so we're not hearing it. I don't see anybody else in our chat area or anyone else waiting to come in. So if I get an alert that some people are in here, then I will let them in. So, all right. So we are down to about 2 minutes now before we're going to get started. And I wanted to see. Oh, there we go. So I've got my caddy of paints like I always do. I've got my hair dryer all ready to go. I've got my brushes, my medium, my small, and my large. I've got my paint tray, and then I've got my canvas. To get the most out of our canvas today, we are going to want to do it in a horizontal and not a vertical. So we're going to be doing that in a horizontal. Let me flip myself back around here. All right. Well, while we're waiting for these few people, if anybody comes in, we do have about a minute and a half. I just realized I forgot my picture. Let me go grab my picture, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and I forgot paper towels too. So I think I am officially ready to get this going today. We have about 30 seconds, so I'm going to wait and see if anybody wants to join us live. If not, this will be posted to our channel later. A little upset. I did our escape room this week and I forgot to record it. When I log into different areas, I don't have that kind of access. So just got to figure that out. Got about 30 seconds or so. Let me see if we've got anybody in here waiting. I do not see anybody waiting. So as soon as that says 3:30, we are going to get started. There's no stencils this week. Extremely happy about that. This is actually one of the easier paintings. So, all right. My name is Beth Gaff. I am the systems manager, technology trainer, and robotics instructor here at the Peabody Public Library. I have started doing these virtual classes for some of us that may not be able to come into the library, but still want to participate in some of those programs we have going on. So this is our virtual painting class for the month. We do one of these a month. And this is our painting today. So you can choose to do it in a night sky, in a pink sky, a green sky, a purple sky. It doesn't really matter what color the sky is, because we've seen the sky in all kinds of colors, right? So there's no right or wrong. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to flip this around. So I have my canvas, and there's my canvas. And the first thing we're going to do is start with our bottom layer. I am going to do the blues today, the blue and the black. So if you're doing blue and black, you're going to want to grab that blue and black. If you're doing the pink and black, you're going to want to grab that pink and black, green and black, purple and black. It doesn't matter. So here's my paint tray. I've got my paints over here. So I'm going to go with this blue here and a black. Now, you don't want your blue too terribly dark, because then you won't be able to see. So I'm going to lighten up that blue with that blue instead. So I have a bright blue and a black. Those are my two colors. All right, so I am going to lay my canvas flat. I'm going to flip us back around here so I can get my paint ready. So I'm taking my blue and my black here, and I'm going to just throw it on this paint tray. I'm getting about a quarter's worth. I can always add more if I need it. And hopefully everybody's had a great 4th of July. That's what our painting is today, is all about the 4th of July. All right, so we are going to start at the top. Roll up my sleeves here. Let me flip us back around. There we go. All right, so we are going to start with some of that black first. So I'm just going to grab my medium-sized brush. I don't need a real big brush to do this. So I'm just going to grab a hold of that black, and I'm going to put my brush a little sideways, and I'm just going to make myself an arch. So I'm going to make myself an arch. So I now have an arch. You can always come down in here and bring it out a little more if you want, however you want. And I am going to paint in my arch black. Now, even though I'm using a canvas panel, if you've chosen to use a canvas panel, you're still going to want to grab those sides. So you do still have sides with those. So we're going to go ahead and nab those up to our line. And we're just going to paint that in currently. And then we're going to throw some blue on top of it and call it a day. Now, before we get too into this, we need to get a pencil out, and we need to block off our water from our sky. So let me grab a pencil. I've got some pencils right over here. So I'm going to grab a pencil, and I'm going to come in here on my canvas and looking at my picture. Looks like my water is is more than halfway down. So I'm going to come in here, and I am just going to draw a line. So I have now split it off. So I now have water, and now I have sky. Excuse me. So now I'm going to grab my bigger brush because I've got a couple different sizes going on here. I'm going to grab my bigger brush, and now I'm going to grab a hold of this blue. And I am going to start in my black, and I'm just going to kind of come out like this. So you can see I've started it in my black. Now, because I've started it in my black and it is wet, I'm going to want to go ahead and kind of wipe that off a little and go back and get some more blue that doesn't have black in it. And we're going to take this spiral all the way down to our line. And again, don't forget, you do have sides. And we're going to take it all the way down to our line. So we can see how that's going. And I might want to dull it out a little bit. May not want it as bright. And the way I can do that is just by grabbing a very little bit black. So I'll start to dull that out a little bit. And again, we've grabbed very little black. And I'm just going back and forth in that same half circle motion. And I'm going to do that all the way down to my line. Don't forget your sides. So I'm taking that all the way down to my line. Now, if you've got some areas that are a little bit wetter than others, it's okay. We can go grab our hair dryer, which I did remember today, and we can go in and fix that. So I'm just taking it down to that line currently. And I'm just doing that back and forth motion until I get to my line. And it's okay that we've gone over the line because we're actually going to be painting it reversed coming down the line. So now we need to make sure this is dry because we are either going to be using some form of a chalk or we're going to be using our pencil and we're going to be drawing in those buildings. Somebody made a comment last month about my oranges in the tea in the lemonade pitcher that my first one was better, and they were 100% right. And again, I don't paint these prior, so this is my first time painting this painting as well. All right, I think I'm about done messing with it. So that's what my top's going to look like there. I am going to grab my hair dryer and start to get this dry because I need to draw in my buildings next. And your buildings can look like anything. They don't have to look like the picture. And if you forgot what our picture looks like, this is the one that we're kind of working with, but we'll probably do buildings more like this just to make it a little easier on us. And right now I'm just drying it off. So that's what we're working with today. All right, so I'm just going to dry this all. And I know it's dry because when I tilt it, I won't see any shiny in it. Or just by looking, you can see the shiny in it. So we're just kind of drying that off because we can't do the bottom part. Oh, I see what they did. That's fine. So I am going to grab another blue. I'm going to grab just this baby color blue because I didn't realize that they had lightened it up towards the bottom. So before we get this completely dry, and now I'm just going to grab that pointy brush I'd been using on the black. So make sure you get all your black out. And then I can grab some of this lighter blue. And in here, I can come in and start to lighten that up a bit. And they've done that all the way to my line. So I can go ahead and draw my line in with that lighter color. Just like that. And if we have to go back in and grab some of that other blue we were using, then we will do so, but don't think we're going to need to. I think we're good. So we've lightened it up and we've taken it down to this line. So now our line is that blue color. And again, this is a background. So we spend a lot of time working on it just to cover it up. Grab a little bit of this dark blue and just kind of go over the rim of that to make it blend a little nicer. Just like so. All right. So now we've kind of got a three-toned kind of, don't like the transition of that. And now we've got kind of like a three-tone looking sky. Just doing some touch up here. Okay. All right, I think we're good with that. So now we have kind of like a three-tone sky, so we've transitioned it. And now we're going to want to definitely make sure it's dry again. I did not see that they had transitioned into another color. And again, we're going to cover up most of that blue that we just put in. So right now we are just drying our canvas to get ready to draw in some buildings. And I think where I want to draw them at is pretty much dry. So I'm going to use my pencil. But if you have chalk, you can use chalk. And now I'm just ready to kind of build in my buildings. So I'm going to start with a building like that. There's really no right or wrong with this. Your buildings can be as tall as you want. You can have as many of them as you want. Everybody's is probably going to look a little bit different, which is totally fine. Now, if you do want to try that skyscraper, which these buildings are going to go down to our line. And if you wanted to try that skyscraper, it looks like it's just, and we can actually just do it here. It looks like it just kind of curves in. So we're curving that in like that. And then they've got kind of like almost like a pyramid on the top with a line. It almost looks like a UFO disc, if you will. So we're gonna pull that out like that. So we've got a skyscraper in there, and now we can just start to build off of buildings down to our line. So we're just taking it down to our line, and we're just gonna do that all the way across. So there's really no right or wrong with this. Tall buildings, short buildings, doesn't matter. And we're just taking it all the way across. You can draw your buildings however you want, and we're just taking it all the way across. All right. So I've drawn my buildings all the way across, and I actually have them down to my line, which is right in this area. So now I'm going to take black, and I'm going to start to color those in. So I would recommend using your pointy brush because these are smaller areas. And we're just taking those down to the lines. Tracing our lines and then painting them in. What really sets them aside is when we go in to put the lights in, which is just a bright yellow. So you're going to want to get a bright yellow, but we're going to actually let this sit and dry before we're ready to do that. Because if not, it's just going to look like one big blob, and we don't want it to look like a big blob. Don't forget that we changed this one around. So it's coming in this way now. And this is also where you can kind of shape it out however you want. It's a great time to go ahead and try to shape it out for yourself. Not sure if that looks like a UFO, but and again, we're just painting that black down to our line. Just trying to make my buildings look a little bit different. And we're just painting those all the way across. And then once we get these painted, we'll start working on that water. And then we'll come back and throw in the lights. Now, although I haven't painted this exact painting, I have painted this type of painting before. So it's kind of nice when you've painted them before too. I haven't painted this exact one though. Almost done. A few more squares. Okay. So now we have a little bit of an outline of our buildings. And now we're going to work on the water. So I'm going to grab my medium brush. I'm going to grab that light color that we used a little bit ago. And we're going to just kind of draw a line underneath our buildings with it. And this will go towards the bottom. So any excess that we had of that color above, this should take care of. Like so. All right, so now we're going to start to come this way. So I'm going to grab a hold of that blue that we were using. And I'm starting on this side. And right underneath that other blue, I'm going to start waving in my water. Now I'm starting to wave in my water. And we are going to wave it in. Okay. Now, one thing we may want to go ahead and do, because we're going to need to make some of that black down there, let's go ahead and start to cast that off. So now we're ready just to, and I'm just dabbing, and the dabbing just kind of gives it a wave look. And I'm only following within that perimeter now. And then I can start to blend. Okay, and we get it all the way down. Don't forget, I still have my little sides. So then I've got a watery look at the bottom. And I'm going to grab my sides up to that V. So I should have what kind of looks like a V. And now I'm going to grab that black. Go ahead and fill in just a little bit more through here before I put the black on. Just dabbing that off and go ahead and grab my black. I'm not going to need a whole lot of it. And I'm just coming back in like I did at the top, filling in these corners. Then I'm just kind of taking it off the canvas a bit. Okay. All right, so that's what we have for, actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this blue. Try smoothing it out. And that is a very good transitional smooth. All right. So we've got water, we've got sky, we've got buildings, and I just realized I didn't paint in tall building. Silly, silly. Okay. So now we gotta go back in and fix that. Okay, so we are just waiting for that to dry now. Just putting a little bit more in here. Like so. Very good. All right, so now we're gonna need a bright yellow. Once all of our buildings are dry, we need the bright yellow, and we're just going to use that pointy. I'm going to go see if I can find a better pointy brush. That one isn't being very user-friendly with me today. I don't think this one's any better. It's okay. All right, so I'm going to now dry the buildings that are not dry. Sorry, I just got paint all over me. Literally. I didn't touch anything. Okay. So I'm just drying that building that I did not get dry before. Now, one thing, well, we're going to go ahead and work on doing this first. And then we'll know exactly where our lights and stuff are. Okay. So I'm going to use this pointy brush I got here. I am going to try to roll it on a paper towel so I can get it as pointy as possible. It's not one of my better ones, but it'll work. And I've got some yellow. And now I'm just going to come in here and start making lights. By doing that, we're just putting in like dots and lines and how lights would be typically in a office setting type building. This is also what separates your buildings. So there's really no right or wrong. Your buildings can have as many lights as you'd like. Now with this one, it shows several lights along the bottom. It also shows us glorifying it a bit. Putting lights through. This is still a little wet. Like so. I'm going to go ahead and dot it up there and draw the line out a little bit more. And then they've put something along those lines. I'm going to take the black and I am going to draw the line up to that. There we go with that. So that's all we're doing. We're just adding in the lights how we want them for our building. Are several buildings that we have. Okay. All right, so once you kind of feel comfortable with the way that looks, then we're going to be ready to start casting our shadows in the water. So that's our city. And we're going to first start with drawing the shadow in. So we're still using this pointy brush. And now we're going to grab some of this black and we're going to come in underneath the buildings and we're just going to do right below this imaginary line we have. We're just going to come in and do a little bit of some shimmying. And we can go back over it. So we're just doing a little bit of shimmying. Coming out from now, once this is dry, because there is a method to my madness here, we are going to take our brush and go over this water a little bit more. So it doesn't just look like a bunch of black blob. It's going to fade out pretty well, which I'm happy about. All right, so we've got some of that shimmy. Going back through here. Like so. Now we got to put some of that yellow in, but before we do that, we need to check and see if we want to fix any of it. And I am going to take my blue and I'm just going to kind of go over this a bit, dulls it out a little bit so it looks like it's more like it's under the water. This was really wet when I did it, so. Start to get some of that out. Just going over it real quick with some of our watercolor. Okay. Some of this got a little bit darker than what I wanted it to be, so I'm trying to go in and fix it a bit. We're just kind of going in and fixing it a little bit. There's really no right or wrong. And before we go in and do that, we can go ahead and fix our line a little bit. Make our shadow a little bit more dominant. Yeah. All right, now we are ready for some yellow. So we're going to take our yellow and we're just going to kind of come in here, and on this one, we might want to do this shimmy this way. Like so. So it looks like we actually have that reflection. And we're going to see a little bit of reflection in some of these taller buildings. so. And I think what I'm actually going to do is take this pointy brush and I'm just going to kind of come in here and I'm going to just kind of bleed it a little because I'm not really happy with the way it's turning out. So I'm just going to kind of bleed it a little. And I can do that really well with my blue that I've got. So I can get my water back in. And I'm just going in that same motion so I can cover some of this up just because it didn't quite flow the way I'd hoped. But I still want that shadow in there, so I'm just kind of going in and making it look more like it's under the water. And now I can actually come in while it's wet and kind of shimmy some of that if it's gonna let me. And so forth. So it's just kind of like some squiggly lines that we're putting in there, some shadow, and then we can go over it with our yellow and put some of those lights in that we know is glowing really brightly. Now we do have to be careful with the yellow and the blue because if we get too much yellow, too much blue, what have you, then we're going to end up with green, and we don't want a green. Actually, I'm going to take this black down. Just kind of going over that color, that bluish color we put in, and I'm lining it out with some black. So that's that invisible line that we don't see. So, all right, and now we're gonna let it dry. So, get it dry. And I think I want to make this a little bit more yellow. A little bit more yellow, just because it's a bigger building. And now we're going to work on our sky. So you're going to want to get your colors out that you're going to want for the fireworks. We've seen fireworks in all colors, so there's no wrong colors. I'm going to go with a red, white, and probably a blue. So I'm going to go with white. Just need a little. Do I have a red in here? I don't see a red. I am sure I have a red somewhere. Oh, here we go. I have lots and lots of colors. All right. red, white, and I'll see if I can find us a different blue. We can probably just use that light blue. All right, so we are going to use our pointy brush. We're going to pick a color, any color. I'm going to start with red. And let me grab my picture. And you could probably put more than one color in. And we're just going to come up here. We're not going to overthink it. I'm just going to do a little bit of a dot. And now I'm just going to come up. Like so. And make that burst. My first burst. I am going to grab a little bit of white and just kind of offset my burst a little. We'll worry about the little lines coming out from the ground after we get them all done here. So there's one. I am going to do one in the blue. We'll see how well it works since, yeah. So coming out from the inside here. Very good. So there's another one. What other colors? Let's do a white. We'll have this one kind of out here by itself. So the opposite, and we'll just add a little red to it. It's actually got red, white, and blue in it, which is kind of cool. So we're just drawing that out. We've got yellow here, so let's go ahead and do a yellow. Can probably fade most of it out. Grab that blue we were working with before. Okay. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on here. So let's do a small one. We'll just do it in a red. And we'll just do a real small one right here. It's got a little bit of red, a little bit of white, and a little bit of blue. Like so. Well, that doesn't look like a firework, so let's fix it. Okay, so those are our fireworks. We need to get our dots and our lines. So I've got this one. And it looks like it comes from there. I've got a white. And I mean, you can do whatever you like with them. So this one has one coming out from here. Almost done, guys. It's looking great. I've got some of these with some onions. So I think we are good, y'all. Color them because they look silly. All right, well, there is our finished product. Making sure we didn't forget anything. Now, one thing you could do if you wanted, and this is entirely up to you, is put some of these colors down here even, so we could do a little bit of a red, and of course we already know about the blue, so we could have a blue down in here. So that is our picture. We have completed it. Feel free to keep fixing it because I know I probably will be. Decided I don't like that now. So I'm going to take it out. And just put that right up to my black, and that'll dry very nicely. So I am not going to put it in my water, but if you wanted to, you very well could. Yeah, I'm just kind of shadowing it out. So. All right, guys, that is our painting for today. I hope everybody had a great time. I know I did. I would love to see your paintings. Let me know. Thanks. See you in the next painting class.